Joining us now are Corey and Daniele, and we're going to be talking about cakes. That's right, cakes. We are with Dortoni Bakery. Welcome to the show. How are you both?
Great, thank you for having us.
So I found out that you're brothers, which I didn't know originally. But do you have other siblings, and are you all into this industry, or just the two of you right now?
We have a brother, but he's not in the business.
Okay, it's just the two of you.
Yes.
So you currently have 4 bakeries, but you're opening up another one. So when you have more than one bakery, right? If you run out of a cup of sugar, do you call the other location and be like, hey, we need more sugar? That's what I do in my neighborhood, I'm just saying.
We're all a big team.
Okay.
Everybody helps each other, everybody. In this day and age, with texting, it's very easy to communicate with other people.
Okay.
So, yes.
Now, wedding cakes, that's what we're talking about today because of the fact that we're doing like these wedding specials, right? Have you ever been to a wedding where you've tasted somebody else's cake and you just were like really sad and disappointed for the bride and the groom?
I would say every wedding.
Every wedding, if it's not your cake?
Yeah, we try not to be judgmental.
Okay. But we do know that like there's a definite like wow factor when somebody has a great wedding and they have a great meal and then it comes time to have the cake. People look forward to that. You know, like the little aunts, the grandmas, the nonas, right? They take
100%.
that piece of cake, they sleep with it under their pillow. They do all those fun things. They take the top of the wedding cake, they stick it in the freezer, right? Mm-hmm. We all know those beautiful, wonderful traditions. What goes into making something delicious? What are the first steps in planning a wedding cake?
It's evolved a lot over the years. Really, the first step into the whole wedding process is the tasting. That's something that we didn't do years ago. In fact, when it started, it was almost like offensive to us. Like, excuse me, you want to try our cake? Like, really? But that's what evolved, and that's really the first step in the whole wedding cake process is a tasting.
Okay.
Couples come, they can select their fillings. They sit down with a specialist, and they taste and they choose and they mix and they match. And it's a whole event.
Okay.
So that's really the first stage one of the wedding cake.
Is to come and try Dortoni's by scheduling an appointment.
Yes.
For an official tasting.
Yes.
Okay.
That's really stage one. Then stage two is changed a lot as well, which is people really come with Pinterest. I mean, people there's millions of pictures to choose from.
Okay.
Well, it really evolved in from when we started in the 80s with wedding cakes. We had an album.
Okay.
People would come, forget about a tasting, but people would come. They'd come over the counter. They want to have a wedding cake.
That was the old-fashioned bridge, the bridge with all the plastic figurines, the fountains.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
We'd open up the album, and there was like 10 pictures to choose from.
Right.
5 were with the
Right.
fountain and the bridges and the brides, the plastic, and they would choose from our 10 wedding
Cake
cakes.
1 through 10, right?
Yeah, cake 1 through 10. So that's how it started, and I was thinking about it, on the way here, how within the bakery business, the wedding cakes have been the most evolutionary dessert that we offer.
Okay.
A crumb cake is the same thing that it was 25, 30 years
Right.
ago. Nothing
Rainbow
really
cookies,
changed. Rainbow
same.
cookies, a
Right.
soda bread. I mean, that's all the same. Nothing has changed. And there's something comforting about that. But wedding cakes have evolved tremendously.
They are works of art now. And,
Works
you know,
of
it's
art
like that
and-
focal piece when people
Yes.
walk into the reception. Sometimes they'll pull out the cake table later, right? Or else it's sitting there when people walk in and they're like, ooh,
Yeah,
ah.
definitely.
Yes.
Right? It's like that,
And
ooh and that ah.
people don't take into ever an account how demanding it is to get the wedding cake from point A to point B. They just say, oh, we're getting married in the Hamptons, and we want to order a wedding cake from
Right.
you, and we appreciate it. Or we're getting married in the city, and it could be on the 50th floor of a building, and they just presume that the wedding cake had a special way
Magically
to get there,
appear.
would magically appear with no stopping short, nobody bumping into an elevator, all of those things that come across, come along with the delivering of the cake. But another stage of wedding cakes is we used to hand draw them when people would come. This is before really the internet and all
Sketched.
that. We would sketch it out.
Okay.
And they would say, they would tell us what they thought, and they would start to sketch it, and all right, within a week we'll get a sketch to you and blah blah blah. Now pretty much the brides and grooms, they come to us with what they want. You know, we're really there to help them execute their dream. But there's so much information out there, so many pictures out there.
Scrolls, colored icing,
Yeah,
different
so
things.
people
Trends are always changing
And
too.
also like a groom cake, Corey, like, right? Do you guys also make
Yeah,
a
of
groom's
course.
cake? So, and I didn't even realize what that is, but sometimes that's like a small chocolate cake that, you know, coincides with the bride's cake. So now the groom gets to have their favorite flavors and things like that.
There's that, and then there's also that was the old-fashioned groom's cake.
Okay.
But then there's also something that resembles something that the groom is into. If he loves hockey, we make a
Okay.
3D hockey,
Oh, I gotcha.
stick, or if he likes
It's like
the
the
Knicks,
personality of it.
yeah,
Right.
something that reflects his personality. So
Okay.
Generally, it's fun. It's like a fun cake, the groom's cake now. It's like something fun, whatever their hobby, whatever their interests are. And most of the time, it's a surprise.
Nice. Now, what is the most, Corey, for both of you, what is the most unique cake you've ever made? Could be G-rated, preferred, but like what's the most unique
As far as
cake?
wedding cake or just
Yeah,
in general?
just in general.
well, we made a cake one time. It was one of the cooler cakes that I think that we've made. The motorcycle cake.
Yeah.
It was
Oh.
about 6 or 7 feet long.
Wow.
Real, true life size Harley Davidson motorcycle. I mean, even at the
Wow.
party, the person who the cake was for sat on top of the cake joking around.
That's some
It was
cake.
insane. Yeah, it was. That's the one that always comes to my mind. It's actually was a wild cake.
Another one which was crazy was it was a lion sitting on the wailing wall. And this cake was about 6 feet long as well, by 3 feet, and like 3 feet high, huge. So at the time, it was one of the most costly cakes that we have ever done. And as you know, things are always so funny. I happened to be going on vacation the week of that cake, not knowing that they were ordering it for that week. Not that I make the cake, but
Right.
a cake
You
of that magnitude,
facilitate
you know,
it,
you
right.
sort of. So there's this huge cake, and of course, where's it going? On World Yacht in the city. So lo and behold, I'm in Florida, and with texting, I'm praying that this cake, the 4 people can carry it onto the boat. Yeah, so it carried on the boat. They're texting me, we're here, we arrived. We're getting it onto there. Okay, it sits. And until it's actually sitting in its spot, that's when we rest.
Yeah, you
But
can't breathe until then,
no,
right? I
but
know.
something
you
like
hold that
that,
deep breath.
because realistically, if God forbid something happened, the time frame to redo it, it's just not
It's
there.
not going to be there. Right. You can't have a stunt cake
No.
come in. I thank you both for joining me. I also wanted to give you a beautiful shout out because of your community spirit. So every year, as I said, I do something with Long Island Cares, and you are generous enough and kind enough to make a donation to benefit them. And I know that that's what you do in each of the towns that you have your bakeries. You're really there as part of the community. It's like that old fashioned type of love, you know, for your
Yes.
community. So I thank you for that. And I know you brought me some goodies, but before we wrap up, I want to just find out, what is your favorite? Because when you grow up in a bakery, sometimes people are like, oh, I work in a bakery, I don't need any of the items. But like, you have to have a favorite. Corey, what is yours? What's your
Good
go-to?
question. I would say maybe the rainbow cookie or black and white would be the two that I
Okay.
would choose.
Same thing?
Yeah, you asked him first. I was going
There
to
you
say
go.
rainbow
Every holiday
cookie.
table that you guys have,
Yeah,
that's
rainbow
what you're looking
cookies,
for.
I think that's forever.
Yeah, that is forever. It's a forever dessert. Thank you both
Thank you.
sincerely for
Thank you.
joining
Thanks
us.
for having us.
And to all you future brides out there, or mother of the bride or mother of the groom, you know, when you're looking for a cake that's delicious, and as they say, you know, can travel and make sure that it shows up on time and that it still looks as good as what you wanted it to look like and tastes as delicious as you're tasting, call Dortoni. I'm Donna Drake, signing off.